Welcome to the Outdoor Channel. Today our video is going to be working with a horse that's never been saddled, never been handled. As you see on the video, this is Dusty working with a mare named Sunshine, and he's trying to send her. And we have worked with this mare one time. We'd round penned her, and you send him around the round pen, and she's not really wanting to go because she knows the game right there. She knows if she faces, she doesn't have to run around the round pen. And so Dusty's seeing that he has her attention, and she's following around, and he can sit there and swing the rope at her, and she's not going to go anywhere. She doesn't want to run around. She wants to be caught. He even tries moving to the side of her here, and she's just not playing the game. So he's putting the halter on her. Move forward a little bit. Now he's playing with the rope, seeing how she responds. And that's just a length of rope tied to a quirt. Just kind of gives it some distance. And he can swing that anywhere he wants. And she's just standing there, taking it all, throwing it around her feet. Now this is a very quiet mare. She's taking all this like it's old hat, nothing to it. You can't expect every horse to be like this. She's been handled enough that she's pretty receptive, and she's not spooky at this point. See, now he's wrapping it around her feet, front legs, hind legs, throwing it over her back, wrapping it around her neck. One thing to be remembered at this stage is everything you do on the left side of a horse needs to be done on the right side of a horse. Where horses have monocular vision, meaning each eye works independently, they will view things differently from each side. So both sides have got to be worked. And don't be surprised when working with a horse that if things change from side to side, what they may accept and allow on the left side, they won't accept on the right side. Just due to the nature of horses, and we tend to do a lot more from the left side because you mount from the left. All these things, these old standards. Okay, so now you see Dusty. He's jumping up on her. He's jumped up by her head, seeing how she's going to handle. You can see there, he's standing there jumping. Jumps up on her, jumps into her, and that's all good. You have to be good at it. The big thing is, well, eventually you want to get her laying across her back. And you see he laid across her back from both sides. But it's just getting the horse desensitized to you working with him. You see there she gave a little bit to the weight, but she's not really moving away from him. She's letting him handle her. And this is all getting ready to saddle her for the first time. There he got a little bit of response out of her. And he brings her back up, rubs her head, goes back and does it again. And that's the thing. Each of these steps, you want to do this. Now you see us applying a blue tarp. Now this mode right here really, horses don't like that tarp. Especially on this day, it was kind of a windy day. They don't like that tarp. And I'm swinging it around her, rubbing it against her. Trying anything I can do to just get her used to things at this stage. There's nothing really wrong you can do. And you see here, now I'm getting a little bit of response out of her. Putting it up by her head. Rubbing it all down her back. And right there you see I take it to the other side. And I walked it right behind her. And if you're going to do that, going behind a horse like that, you do that right behind them. You actually can get away with that spot right there. It's when you're out behind them a little ways that you're in the danger zone. Now you see me actually putting it up over her head. And she actually wore that tarp. So now we introduce saddle pad for the first time. And you see I'm banging it around, making noise, making big movements, because I don't want to surprise her. I'd rather her upset by me just swinging it around like that than trying to sneak up on him and throw it on. And you see there, I actually basically just toss that up on there. I'm not being careful, I'm not being gentle, I'm letting it flop down on her. I switch sides, bang it, big movements, make sure she's seeing it, I'm thumping it against her. And not every horse will take this fast. This mare's, like I said, even though she's not been worked with, she's calm. There I get a little bit of response. I scratch her and pat her and talk to her and do it again. The more of this you do, the more you settle a horse's mind. And that's what you're after here. The goal is to get a horse saddled, through these steps without him having big blow-ups. Or you keep working at desensitization at each step. And we skip forward in the video now where we've introduced the saddle. And I did the same things with the saddle that I did with the saddle pad. I was making noise with it. I was kind of shaking it around, making sure she could see it, did it from both sides. Now, we start moving her with it, letting her feel that saddle for the first time. You see Dusty's walking her. She's feeling that weight. Now we will, and I'll actually take the halter off them, just like you're seeing now. And I'll try to send them a little bit. Now she feels that saddle thumping for the first time. Now this is not an unusual response. And I'm getting this out of her on the ground, and she goes around and around. She's not bucking extremely hard, but she's starting to realize, okay, that saddle's not going anywhere. And then she goes back to that behavior of, okay, I'm going to stop. I stop and come to you, everything's good. So that response didn't worry me. Now we're going to put the bridle on her for the first time. I will not bridle a horse until they will give me their head. And you see I've got one hand on her nose, one hand up on her poll. Until she'll relax and stand there, I keep doing this drill. I keep working with her till she starts relaxing, and she's standing there relaxed, letting me have her head. And don't be surprised if this step takes more. You can see now I'm really just giving her a head hug. I'm swinging that bridle around, getting her used to me handling her head. And I let her go, and she's like, okay, I want it back. And I'm like, okay, we'll take it again. Get that hand up there, and I'm messing with her ears, pushing her head down. She resisted that a little bit. And we're just building, and we're building trust with her and getting her used to things. Now I'll get the bridle in place, and I kind of got to get the bridle in place before I take her head back again. You see I pull her back around. I got the bridle going up her nose. She's not sure about that, so we pull her head all the way back over, get the bridle in place. And mind you, this mare had never had a bit in her mouth. And that's her normal response. You know, that's a normal horse response, is that they're going like, oh, you put something in my mouth. And then I'm checking the bit, and on a D-ring snaffle that I use on all colts, you want that bit set so it's just starting to make just a little bit of a smile. And they'll do that. They'll sit there and jaw on that bit, jaw on that bit. I made an adjustment there, made it just a little longer. She starts getting a little more relaxed with it. And there I'm showing, you know, that's, I guess I need to do a close-up of that, how that properly adjusted bit looks. Then we move her around a bit. And now we go to hook up driving lines. And the reason we drive horses is we get the controls in them so they're responding to the bit before you ever get on them. If you can drive them, and it also, this, you see me swinging that rope around, I'm not being careful. I'm not worrying about startling her. I'm making sure she's seeing what I'm doing. When you introduce it to them in this environment, they'll start to accept it. Or if they don't, you keep doing it until they do accept it. You want to be, it's all part of the desensitization process and getting them to relax. And you can see she's standing there and Dusty takes it to the other side. And this is also going back to the rope drill where you're swinging that rope around them, putting it over their back. They're getting used to that being swung around them. One thing I need to mention when I do the drive like this with the saddle on, I do tie the stirrups under their belly so the stirrups don't flop around. And you'd run the driving lines through the stirrups. You can see right there. And then as you go back, get behind her, those stirrups guide the driving lines. Now to start with, I'll move with her because she's used to coming to a person. She's used to being led. And so the first steps of driving, I will walk with her, get her to follow me. See there, she's just kind of like, no, what's going on here? I get her to focus on me. It takes a minute or two here, and then she's like, okay, oh, okay. Actually have to lead her just a little bit to get started. And you can see she's not comfortable. This process, she's not terribly happy. And she's focused more on those lines than on me. And we start getting her to just move around. Now she's starting to relax a little bit, getting her moving. And you do the same things here with the driving lines you would on them. You get them to give their head. Now we've moved forward. And it didn't take long with her before I was out of the pen and Dusty started driving her on his own. He's moving her around just like if you would if you were on her. He's keeping her moving, just give her a little snap with the lines. And you see there, he did a thing there, turns her head to one side, then gives her just touches her with the line. When the horse locks up, start moving them laterally to get them to unlock. We're doing all this in the round pen because you don't need to do this in a large space. Confine their space, makes them a little easier to work with. And you'll see Dusty just starts getting her walking around easy, and then he'll take her through. Take her, turn her, go through the middle. Get her responding to the bit. She wanted to turn back right there. You see he straightens her out, keeps her moving. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video informative. We're going to break it right there, and we'll proceed with another video in the next step of the horse breaking process. Please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button if you would, and have a great day.